Que passa?
Mm. Oh, here it disappears. Can you try to say something?
Sure, with pleasure.
Uh,
Did that
maybe
work?
I try speaker view. Oh, there you are.
Okay. Cool.
I wanted to maybe ask or share something because it hasn't been there for a while, um, but it happened again now, just a little bit. When I look at people, they begin to disappear. Um, First the body, and the end the face changing, and but the only thing which is not disappearing is the eyes. Now your body started to disappear. What's that?
You know, I would go a different direction. It's just like, who are you? When I ask that question, it's like it's not something for the mind. It's something like whoever you are, you already are. So we can see what you're not. Thoughts come and go. Uh, Different automatic unconscious patterns play and stop, if you'd say, come and go. All experience seems to come and go. This bodying activity also is constantly changing. So somehow, like I hear often this speaking of the soul, and so it's like I I can't find any separation. So then I don't know what the soul is. If it's nothing separate, then other than an idea. So we've been conditioned when we meet what looks like someone, usually within a few seconds, we form an impression of that person. And from then on, we never relate to the person at all. We just relate to this impression. So when thinking starts to get quiet and boundaries start to become clear that they don't exist. And at best, all we can say is this information flow, or energy flow, or whatever, however you want to speak it, but it's just, and there's awareness of that. And that awareness cannot be seen. And identity, like, seems like most of us have some impression of an identity that uh, our partners might have a different idea of who we are, our parents would have a different idea, our friends would have a different idea, so that identity is just another construct as far as I can see. So when there's not a relating with any of those things, what's left, then there's just like awareness, aware of awareness. It's like the rest of the information is not that relevant. So it's like, we're so used to staying within our memory of someone or our thoughts of someone And when even that drops away, what's left? There's not that much left. That inquiry, who am I? It's an interesting one because it's impossible to say what that is. It's just everything and nothing. It's just like, yeah.
It seems like, I don't know, it's somehow I know what I am, but when I try to think about it, nothing comes.
Yeah, because it's not a thought. It's not related to thought. It can't be encapsulated by thought. It's impossible.
Yeah. Well, something comes when mind is activated, but that's not what I am.
Absolutely not. Yeah.
This is, I don't know.
If I try and put it in words, I can just say the experience of this moment, all the information that's available is appearing in who I am, and it's not separate from who I am. And included in that is the automatic interpretation of what any of it means. I was watching a clip between the two physicists and this neuro somatic expert. And the physicist was saying, according to physicists, there is no choice whatsoever. You cannot find choice in anything, in quantum, in any layer of what we know about physics. And the neuroscientist was saying, we've got this equipment now that can measure people's brain waves and what's going on in the brain. And when we ask someone to choose, quite a little bit before the person is conscious of making a choice, the choice happens in the brain. And then we become conscious and we say, I did it. So they were both agreeing that there is no choice, and from where I look, no one to choose either. It's just like that sense of me. And then the question was, how come we have this? Why is there that illusion that the choice is possible? Which is, again, I don't know if you can answer that question. Somehow life functions that way.
Yeah. And
so for me, an example that I like to use is just like if we have an ocean and we have waves on the ocean. When the wave crashes, we don't say it returned to the ocean. It never was not the ocean. And the next wave that comes, we don't say, oh, that's a reincarnation of the previous wave. We just say it's the ocean. So there's these expressions of life here, carrying information from, I'd say, all of human prehistory. And depending on how quiet we are, depends on what we have access to, you could say. So we were talking last session about dying. For me, it's like a wave crashing. There's no, where do we, it's weird. Where do we go? Or, it's like who we are, we are. We don't seem to go anywhere.
It just
Form,
seems like we go
yeah,
here.
yeah. And form is constantly changing. Like to say the body dies is interesting because it's every second it's changing.
my my thinking brain and body still is a little cautious that it seems like I'm not.
Yeah. So there's a noticing of that caution somewhere along the line. That caution was inherited or conditioned or something, and so, okay, well, so there's a noticing of cautiousness. Okay, cool.
I didn't even make it myself. How did I ever believe it?
Yeah.
I don't know. Hmm.
And for me, I don't ask anyone to believe anything. I just look for yourself and see. I mean, if what I speak resonates with your own mind, great. If there's a different perspective, wonderful. It's all good. It's not a club where you have to believe something to join it or something. It's just seeing for yourself.
Hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Hi, Isaac.
There you go.
Hi. Hmm. There's something I like to explore a little bit with you. And so, what you just shared and how you see the world, or however we want to call that, in my view, it matches 100% how I am perceiving that.
Mhm.
And so recently I had an exchange with people that are busy with the model from Ken Wilbert. Is it familiar to you? Do you know a little bit about?
No, I'm not sure. I know who Ken Wilber is, or I mean, he's an amazing thinker.
Yes. 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 So they have this integrales model in German, and actually what they would say, what we are exploring here is like spiritual bypassing, which not only these people are saying, so also I often hear that from therapists that do body work or trauma work or whatever, that resting as awareness in awareness is like a bypassing of something, whatever. And yeah, and for me, all these models, this especially the Ken Wilber model feels so very mental, very mindy, so to say.
Yeah.
But you don't have so much experience about this model. Huh?
No. Let's look at this thing of bypassing.
Yes, please.
So the idea of that, as far as I can...
I just want to add something before we look, because what is a kind of surviving mechanism in this organism is somehow from early childhood to make myself small or wrong or whatever. And when this is then this is somehow triggered also, yeah, this spiritual bypassing, so as if I am wrong or whatever. So that's what I wanted to.
Okay. So let's just use that for this play. Yeah. So you could say there's a pattern or a tendency of external authority or insecurity or whatever you want to call that. Okay. So whatever that is, if it was up to you, I don't believe it would be there.
Yes.
So to me, what that means is that somehow there's some old information, call it trauma or conditioning, doesn't matter where it comes from, that's sitting and that's influencing at moments the experience of the moment.
Yes.
Not something we choose, not something we do, it happens by itself.
Yes.
And it's noticed. Very often in the noticing, somehow it's taken personally. There's identification with it. It's somehow that means something about a sense of me. And then some energy moves into wanting to, an agenda arises to fix it or change it or somehow deal with it.
Yes, that's often what they also say. Yeah, you have to work on your shadow or dark or whatever. And
yeah. And so from where I look, okay, so the moment there's an agenda, all of a sudden attention is being given to something that doesn't actually it's a Fata Morgana. It's not real, if it's say it like that. So, and without the identification, it's just a noticing of a pattern that plays that has nothing to do with who we are. It's just a pattern playing within whatever this is. It's not personal. It's like it's pretty generic, and there's no reason to do anything with it except notice it, see it. It's just see it and see. Okay, wow. Actually, it's not that useful, and it's not a, it doesn't. Yeah, so for me, that's not a bypass. It's just a seeing, a clear seeing. To me,
how I experience it also, yeah, it's very clear.
Yeah. So to me, this the bypassing awareness in favor of an agenda is bypassing. It's bypassing what's real. It's bypassing. It's like it's backwards. Anyway, that's how it seems here. So to me, it's like this. it seems like in the deep recognition of that everything is welcome, nothing has to be different, that just the capacity to recognize what's real, what's not real, everything gets taken care of by itself without a doing. It's just a natural evolvement of, you could say, old habits that have troubled man, womankind forever. And so, truthfully, we don't have to do anything, and it's not a bypass. But it's beautiful to look at again and again. But I keep hearing this bypassing story, and for me, it's like,
yeah, I would say bypassing is, if I would say, all of this is not real, the feelings is not, I don't have that feeling, it's an illusion, or I don't have that experience, or he is no experience, which is not true. Yeah, he is experience. Yeah.
So there's experience, and then somehow, again, it's just seen how it's referred to. So people often, in relating to this idea of bypassing, they talk about these movements as our humanness. That resting as awareness bypasses our humanness.
Yes.
And that our human, that these automatic unconscious patterns of play are our humanness. And so for me, I go, okay, well, to me, what seems meeting this moment as the beloved is the clearest expression of the possibility of the human birth. So
yes,
that's how it seems to me. And if anyone sees it differently, welcome. I'm not asking anyone to believe anything.
For me, it's 100% match.
Yeah, thanks for bringing it. Maybe
Thanks.
let's go the gallery view just for a moment and see if anyone got any value from exploring it. Maybe some people got some value, maybe some people didn't like it. Whatever, welcome, whatever you see it.
Thank you, Isaac.
Yeah, thank you, guys. And if there's anything else that if anybody wants to look at related to this, please bring it. Maria, doesn't have to be related to this. Can be.
Yes, there are more than to relate to this, but it's always coming again and again in here that even we are talking, or you say, or I, or whatever I is. In this moment, when I'm speaking or thinking or whatever, it's always a model. It seems for me it couldn't be in another way. Even you talk to Gaia, it's a model for this here. And it's helpful for me too to have this model and not always to go to not knowing.
Yeah. So this is the paradox, you see. It's like, truthfully, we can say nothing.
Yeah, I can agree.
So then, but then we're using words to explore constructs. So there's this construct of shadow, there's this construct of humanness, there's this construct of bypassing. So we can just keep quiet and say, okay, all constructs.
And that's it's the schwierigste, the most difficult to be quiet.
Yeah, I like keeping quiet, and I really, in some ways, a lot of times I don't speak. I'm just sitting here enjoying, and then somehow we come in resonance, and then there's no need to speak anything. But it's also fun to play with words, and
Yeah, I only want to speak it.
yeah, look, I get it. It's of course.
No, the agenda here to keep quiet.
Another thing is recognizing the quietness that's always here. It's like it's
Maybe I didn't really found it, because when you speak this, it's yes, it's really helpful to be quiet and to see. And then I couldn't go further to see. That's not my experience to see quietness that always here.
again, words maybe are confusing, but to me, it seems like every sound appears in silence.
How many times I have to hear this again and again? I hear it, but I don't understand. Yes, and it's not making for the mind, that I know.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Martin. Hi. Greetings. Martin, you're still muted. There's a little red button on the bottom left of your screen. If you just, yeah.
Okay,
cool.
hello. Nice to meet you. I wanted to ask you about anger and about like when you meet a woman, for example, and you are aware of power and anger or power, let's say, in that person or in that being. And it's very strong to receive or to be with, let's say. Do you have, or yeah, yeah, for me it's
So
like,
let's just check something. If there's no wanting at all, can anger come up?
yeah,
If there's
for me
no
it's
preference,
for me it's difficult.
but we're just looking at to see something. I know, we all know when we want something and something gets in the way of that wanting, then we can experience a range of emotion. We can experience anger, we can experience sadness, we can experience fear, we can experience heartbreak. All those things can, but it's all underneath, there's a wanting.
Yeah.
Yes or no?
Yeah, guess so.
Okay. Okay. So now, and to me, it seems to function the same in all of us. When we don't get what we want, there's a response. And that response can vary to be just a gentle, oh, I'm not getting what I want, to an existential, like it feels like our survival is threatened and our whole system goes actually crazy. It's fight, flight, or freeze. It's doing its whole number. But when we're not getting what we want, actually there's a sense of powerlessness. And anger is a way to try and feel powerful again, to kind of compensate for the powerlessness. So on the surface, it looks like it's powerful, but underneath it, it's powerless. It's not getting what it wants. It's not getting recognized. It's not getting seen. It's not getting appreciated. It's not getting its boundaries recognized. So, so then it would express as anger. And nothing right with anger, nothing wrong with anger. It's just how it plays. It's just what happens in the movie, yeah? So it can be useful just to notice what wanting is there. Nothing right about it, nothing wrong about it, not trying to stop it. Just noticing when wanting comes. You meet a woman and somehow you want something with her.
Can I bring something on the table, like a concrete situation?
With pleasure.
There is like something happening here in the house, in the building where I'm living, which was created by my father and by my mother, actually. And now we have this idea to build a flat on top of the roof, or like, yeah, to build something here, right? And there is like this we have a problems with the neighbors that they don't allow us, so to speak, to build an entry, like a staircase to the second floor. And it's a very difficult situation, because like my mother is like very involved in this, and I feel very, I don't know, like what you said, like helpless, and like yeah, very stuck somehow in.
Yeah, so she wants to build this thing.
Mm,
Somebody doesn't want to let it happen.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. And so then now what happens then is you either you try and find a way for it to happen,
Yeah,
either going to attorneys or speaking to the council or trying to get the rules changed, depending on how much you want it. It's just like this is always how it plays in life. But for me, it's okay. This idea came to build something on top. Great, it's a nice idea. Makes sense. Otherwise, it wouldn't be pursued. But now you've run into a problem.
Mhm.
Okay, and seems
maybe
like
that's like maybe that's one of the problems is if it makes really sense. Like that's maybe one of the questions that I have also.
yeah. So it makes sense to do it practically. Maybe
Yeah.
you can. It's a good investment, and you get a good return on your money, or whatever it is, or offering more living space, whatever the reason is. But now you've got a problem that the neighbors don't want it, and maybe they can stop it happening.
Yeah.
Okay, so then now you're at that point. Now practically, what can you do? You speak to the neighbors, you speak to an attorney, you follow to see what's possible. That's all.
Mm.
But in that whole process, what's for me useful to see is where our happiness gets tied to this idea that this thing should happen. One thing's clear, it's either going to happen or it's not going to happen.
Mhm.
Now, whether or not happiness is worth investing in that idea, that's worth looking at.
Yeah,
It doesn't mean you give up on the idea. It doesn't mean you don't go for it. Of course, the idea has come and it seems to make sense. So, of course, you will follow through with everything you can do to realize that idea, to see if it can happen.
but when do you
But
think it's time to stop effort, to give effort in things? Because it feels like
nobody can tell you that.
um,
That will become clear to you. For you, though, you from what I understand from what you spoke, is that your mother's very invested in this,
yeah,
and then somehow there's some connection with what's happening in your mother in you.
yeah.
That's causing some difficulty in you. So there's the way you can explore in you. Of course, you support your mom in her vision, but at the same time, just watching where the involvement is more important than happiness, more important than peace. This project will happen or it won't happen. Not up to you. You'll follow as much as you can to see that it happens. But all that you can watch to see is where somehow this project or your mom's happiness or anything becomes more important than peace, beauty, love in this moment. Then what you can say in words is that you've thrown away the only thing that's beautiful, love, peace, beauty in this moment for an idea, a thought, a vision.
Can you say that again? The last sentence?
What often happens is we get involved in a way of functioning that costs us peace,
Yeah.
happiness, joy, without realizing it, we've made this idea or this vision more important than beauty, peace, love. So, maybe it's worth looking. Is that worthwhile? Or not?
Cool, yeah.
It doesn't mean you can't follow this idea and see
Yeah,
practically.
that's I guess that's exactly that's what you're saying. To find like this balance or to come back to this
Yeah,
piece again.
exactly.
Because it's like
Exactly.
it's growing
Just-
and it's growing and it's growing and it's like
Yeah. To realize, to really once and for all recognize what the priority is.
yeah.
For me, the priority is peace, love, beauty this month. Not waiting, not even a millisecond. Be happy later, just this month. Doesn't mean you can't be practical. Doesn't mean you can't take whatever steps you need to take. Doesn't mean you don't watch when frustration comes up or whatever. Let
Yeah.
them come. But
Yeah,
let
yeah.
them come up in that peace.
Yeah, yeah. Hold on.
Okay.
Good to hear. Yeah, thank you very much for listening and for reminding me and for sharing. Very,
Yeah,
very.
sure. And like these meetings are recorded, so if your mom wants to listen, you can play it for her.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Ah, Sarah.
Hello.
Hey, Sarah.
Can you hear me?
Perfect.
Good.
And I think all of us can find where somehow we prioritize something else. Yeah.
Yes. I came with a question. Yesterday my mother was interested in this inquiry,
Hmm.
and we got to a point where I was talking about the mind and what watches the mind, and she answered the mind. And that was my first answer too when I came to you, but somehow it got dissolved very quickly.
Yeah.
But I was frozen when she said that. I couldn't. I knew
Yeah.
it was not,
Yeah, I understand.
but
So
I
look,
couldn't.
yeah, the confusion is that there's an idea that there's such a thing as a mind. There's thought. No thought, no mind. You see, that's like this is, and the thought cannot be aware of a thought. It's not. See that when you see it like that, then it's clear. But otherwise, it's like, it seems like there's two minds or something like that. But it's just a thought. That's all. That's all mind is, as far as I can see. It's like, okay, no thought, no mind. Yeah. It's beautiful that the interest is growing. Okay, so that's the first, like, of course, there's an interest to point your mom in a clear way. Oh, lovely. So, and in that, there's a learning going on. So beautiful.
Thank you.
And again, these things are recorded, so if your mom's interested, you can play this little clip for her. Maybe that makes it more clear for her.
For sure.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks. I mean, what I know is that as our attention isn't hijacked by all the conditioning and trauma, what's been underneath starts to bubble up. And it has to. So therefore, there's no bypassing and just resting. It comes up. It has to come up. So, and it's welcome. It's beautiful that it comes up. There's an opportunity to be seen. Sundari.
Hi.
Hi, Sundari. It's just resting here. Your system is unwinding itself in the most
Yeah.
beautiful way.
Mm. So many beautiful dialogues today. It's so touching. It's a lot of unwinding,
Beautiful.
letting go.
You know, it's so funny because in almost all of us, our system carries old information that it crystallizes around and tries to defend.
Mhm.
And it's so interesting to look at defending. You know, it's like our system, the great intelligence of these systems go into trying to stop hurt happening.
Mm.
And then the trying to stop hurt happening, it's very painful.
Mm.
So in other words, the way it works is we hurt so that we won't hurt. And it's automatic and it's unconscious, and usually we don't even notice it. It's just so, we're so used to it, and our system is used to kind of like not allowing a full flow from our heart, from our sexuality, from everything. Because it's trying to not get hurt.
Mm.
But it's okay, you know, that it does that. It's just like, it's so beautiful when it relaxes and you go, okay, wow, it's okay to be here full, just radiant, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, also to watch when the body is retracting or something, when it does that.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to watch
And
it.
you can see we would never do that consciously.
No.
It's yeah.
It seems
Conscious-
like, yeah, we get into these stories and then we listen to somebody's stories and then it's just like on. Yeah. 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 So in a way, it's very beautiful because we are helping each other, just listening to these stories and then, yeah, feeling it and then releasing it. Yeah. So it's yeah. Mm. Thank you very much, Isaac. Thank you, everyone.
Ah, Louise. Hey, Louise.
Hi, Isaac.
How does it feel to just be like this?
It's just very blissful.
Yeah, just beautiful.
Mm.
Nothing's held back. Just
Mm. Mm. Thank you. Mm. Mm. Mm.
pressure.
Isaac.
Mm.
Oh,
One eternal moment, please. Looks like you're the only one I accept to tell me something. Maybe not in practical terms, but in that. Arms to show. Oh, Enough.
Mhm. Yes. Mhm. Everything.
No, I really enjoy these meetings because it's not even because I enjoy but also the the reminders in there, they speak to something inside that, you know, like a deep knowing inside that sometimes attention neglects, or you know. So it just renews something, brings some fresh air, and I'm grateful for that, for all the sharings, because it's really meaningful. I can see it like coming back to myself. You know? So easy for, you know, the attention to get busy with other things and neglect the most basic uh, that's already here. It's very special to be seen like that, like seen through, fully. Thank you, Isaac. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, as well.
Okay. Hmm. Thank you, Bas, for hosting. Thank you, beloveds, for being here.